Have you ever noticed how your mood shifts depending on what you see, hear, or even the air you breathe? That's because your nervous system doesn't think in words, it thinks in sensations. And that is why who understands sensory control controls the masses. Let's talk about sensory deprivation and sensory overload. Two powerful tools. Both can be used for healing and for manipulation. Both can open your mind or break it. Let's start with sensory deprivation. When your senses are cut off, when there is a darkness, stillness, silence, when there is no stimulation is coming from outside, your mind turns inward. And that can be deeply healing or disorienting. In hypnotherapy, meditation, in shamanic trance work, the sensory reduction is used intentionally, withdrawing from the external noise and accessing the inner world. We can connect with our intuition to draw some insight, or we can use that state for reprogramming our mind, releasing some fears, letting go of habits that don't serve us, and we can wire in new programs that will be beneficial for us. This is how we use sensory reduction for healing. But sometimes sensory deprivation can happen without your consent, through isolation, through neglect, solitary confinement. Your nervous system, deprived of input, becomes confused. Your mind shifts into a different state. Your fears start to amplify. You can become very open, vulnerable to any external stimulation. You become very suggestible. You seek any sort of stimulation, even if it's not good for you. Remember those movies where people were put into solitary jail cells? It's used to break people down. They are locked away, kept in full isolation for a while, then guards will take them out. The questioning starts, and if the person is not ready to give in yet, they're locked away again, and they will do it until they break the person down. But we don't have to go that far. Remember your childhood. Were you ever punished? Were you ever locked in your room, or worse, in the basement? It is a punishment, and it is a psychological control. Prolonged sensory deprivation can create a damage that will be irreversible. Think very well before going to those retreats with dark rooms, or even going to this sensory deprivation floating tanks. This is not a healing experience. All floating tanks, I suggest you just forget about those completely. And if you don't want to take my word for it, do research. How often the waters change there? How well, or I should say, how badly those filters work. Do you really want to go into that water? Again, don't take my word for it. Do research. Find regulations. And as for these retreats with dark rooms, I know you've been told that it will boost your DMT, you will become psychic. No. It will not lead you to enlightenment. This procedure is used to break you down, to make you more vulnerable, to make you more willing to cooperate, to make your mind more open to suggestions. So then this guru who leads the retreat can take control over you, can seed new beliefs. This is a tool of brainwashing, not healing, not enlightenment. And if your nervous system is already compromised, dark rooms or floating tanks can send you into psychosis. Now let's talk about the opposite, sensory overload. The noise that drowns your inner voice. Constant notifications, flashing screens, crowded visuals, artificial lights, noise, non-stop news, constant changes in politics and economy. All of it is designed to keep your nervous system too busy to think. Sensory overload fragments your attention and keeps you in a low-level stress, just enough to make you reactive. It keeps you too distracted, too busy, preoccupied with all the incoming information. So you're constantly in the reactive state, and your mind and nervous system are too busy to think, too busy to notice who's pulling the strings. Don't even for a moment think that it's accidental. It's all by design. The politics, media, advertising, they all rely on overstimulation to bypass your reasoning mind, your logic, your neurocortex. This is the smartest part of the brain. So they flood your senses to overstimulate that part of the brain, so finally it gives in and your inner voice goes silent. This is your guardian, your reasoning, your logic. It cannot function under constant stimulation. When your nervous system is overstimulated, you're not choosing, you're just reacting. Now pay attention how you feel and what's happening with your thinking when you are watching political debates, news, advertising, when you're listening to sales speeches. The same mechanism is used in gypsy hypnosis, street hypnosis. You are overstimulated. If you ever been in places where you can encounter gypsies on the street, you know they surround you, few people at a time. They talk very fast. At the same time, few people, into one ear, into another ear, somebody's in front of you. They get really close into your personal space. They gesticulate, waving something right into your face, and they're touching you. That overstimulates your nervous system, and it confuses your brain. You're basically entering trance now, and then the state is used to manipulate you. This is how people give away their wallets to gypsies, taking their jewelry off and giving it away, and then they or cannot remember anything, or they do remember, but they cannot explain why they've done it. In sales, that is also used. Remember how those sales speeches are done over phone. They talk very fast. There is also background noise. It's the same mechanism. They overstimulate you, confuse you, so they can manipulate, influence your decision. And it's even worse if the sales done in person. You go to car dealership. How many people surround you? They talk at the same time. They showing you things. They tapping on your shoulder or touching your hand. It's the same mechanism. And those self-development events, big group events. Think of Tony Robbins, but he's not the only one that does it. People pay thousands to join the event, hoping to learn something. And then the whole event just turns into a sales pitch to upsell more stuff. People are locked in a stuffy room without air. They are not let out to go to use bathroom. They are kept there for hours without food or drinks. There is a light flashing. People are screaming. You're constantly asked to get up from your chair, wave or scream something out. Then you have to turn to your neighbor, give a hug, ask something, pat them on the back. There is constant overstimulation. Your brain gets really confused and you get exhausted. And then you're given some order form to sign. Just sign it and it'll be all over. You can go home. MLM events, they use the same tactics. In colleges and universities, this is a big problem too, because younger people, they're more prone to manipulation. Their nervous system is not stable yet. It's so much easier to influence them, and people prey on that. Not that long ago, I had another client like this, young man. I wanted to say boy because he's so young. He said he was invited to a motivational speech. It was a free event. He was excited to go, looking forward to learn something. And then, all the same things, flashing lights, people screaming, there's lots going on. It was a whole day event. And at the end, he signed up for $10,000 coaching package. He remembers everything. He does not understand how he agreed to it. He said he absolutely cannot afford it. This story ended okay. His father stepped in. But how many boys and girls who don't have anyone to protect them? They enter these legal agreements that they cannot get out of. There are lots of sharks out there that prey on vulnerable people. What can you do when your nervous system is hijacked? Awareness is a power. Withdraw your focus inwards. You can be in active conversation, but still bring attention inwards. And check with yourself, who am I? What am I doing here? What was my goal when I came here? When you feel overstimulated and confused, understand that your analytical, logical part is not functioning at the highest level. Don't rely on logic. Trust your senses. How do I feel? Is my body tensed? Or maybe I don't even feel my body at the moment. When you enter trance, the body can feel a bit numb. Your legs, your hands become cotton-like. At the same time, your subconscious may perceive threat, and you may experience some tension, shallow breathing, rapid heartbeat, sweating, generally feel uneasy, uncomfortable, or even anxious without understanding why. Trust your feelings. The best thing to do in a situation like this is to remove yourself from that environment. If you cannot leave, at least excuse yourself, go use the restroom so you can come back to your normal senses. Or if you cannot leave the room, you have to bring your attention inwards and ground yourself. Who am I? What am I doing? What is my goal? Touch yourself. You can pinch yourself. You can adjust your clothing. Look for something in your pockets or your bag. Start naming in your mind what surrounds you. This is white wall. This is wooden desk. I am wearing black sweater, and name what you're experiencing. I am afraid. Again, logic may not work here. So don't try to explain it to yourself. Just trust your senses. I am uncomfortable. For some reason, I'm afraid at the moment. I am anxious. My heart is beating. I don't want to be here. I don't like this person. But remember, the best way to protect yourself in this situation is to remove yourself from it. You have to trust in this situation yourself, your senses, more than whatever other people are saying and expecting from you. I am okay. I am right to feel this way. And you have to not care how others will perceive you. Well, will I look silly if I just stand up and walk away? Will I offend anyone with my behavior? Will I hurt someone's feelings? You have to learn not to care about it. If you think back when you did encounter situations like this, you know that for a very long time your mind wouldn't let go of it. You kept rewinding the events, you kept replaying the conversations. Why? Because your mind tried to make sense of what happened. There was a perceived danger, and your mind now has to figure out why. That experience has to be labeled and put into a certain box for future reference. Does that represent real danger for me, so I have to avoid it in the future? Or that was okay, so I can allow myself to experience it again. So if that happened and you keep rewinding it over and over, you can help yourself by describing the situation in writing. And you can also talk to other people about what happened, because when we speak out loud, we have to involve our logical part to create sentences, to make our speech sensible. It will help your mind to make sense of what happened. You have to reclaim your sensory environment. Create silent breaks. Silence isn't emptiness, it's a reset button. You have to reconnect with nature. Take at least little breaks in nature. It's not luxury, it's medicine. And you have to create predictable routines. I'm not saying create your entire days like a robot, but you have to have some sort of rituals in your day. Something that you do predictably, repeatedly, in the same way. That will be your stability anchors. And this is especially important when your life is out of your control, when there is a political chaos, economy is falling apart. When you are going through some crisis, you need those intentional stability anchors to help your nervous system to deal with whatever's happening. This can be your hygienic routines. No matter what, I have 2 showers in the morning and an evening. No matter what, I'm going to brush my teeth at least in the morning and in the evening. It can be your breakfast. I don't know what's going to happen through the day, how busy I will get, but I'm going to have breakfast at a table. It's going to be hot and it's going to be nourishing. It can be your self-care routine. It can be as little as putting scented lotion onto your hands. No matter what happens throughout the day, I can take 1 minute and put lotion onto my hands. Notice the aroma, and it can be spiritual practice. No matter what happens, I light my candle and I pray, or I meditate, or I do ancestral devotion at my altar. And this is even more important for your kids, as they need those routines. You don't have any control of what's happening in the daycare, kindergarten, or school, but you can control what happened at home. This is how we eat breakfast together as a family with no distractions. This is how we eat dinner together at the dining table, not by TV, with no distractions. And we talk about the day. Every evening I'm going to read you a story. Every Saturday morning we go to the park. These are all stability anchors. This is something our nervous system can lean on. Getting back to sensory deprivation and overload. How can you make it work for you? Remember, this is a double-edged sword. It can harm people, but it's also can be used as a therapeutic tool. Sensory deprivation, and I don't want to use word deprivation here. We're not depriving. We are taking control of what's coming through. We're reducing negative sensory experiences. This is how I would like to frame that. Quiet breaks throughout the day. When you feel overstimulated, dim the light, turn off TV, put away your phone, close your eyes, and withdraw your focus inwards. If you have just a few minutes, it can be your reset button. And if you have more time, in this liminal space, use your imagination to rewrite your reality. Self-hypnosis, meditation, simple visualization. This can be your healing ritual. That actually reminds me something that we did in school. You know, I was raised in Soviet Union. We took a tiny break in the middle of each class. I'm not talking about the breaks between classes. Those were 10-15 minutes. But in the middle of each class, our teacher will announce, this is our break. We'll turn off the light, close our eyes, and we were to lay our head on our arms. And that was our 3-minute break in complete silence. And I still do that. Of course, not every hour, but when I feel that I'm getting tired, I'll do this at my desk. When my son was little, we did it. We did it every hour when he was very little. He never fought it because he didn't know it could be different. I taught him from very beginning. I would just say, this is our silent break. And I'll turn off light and we would just lie down. Bed, couch, usually just on the floor in our living room if we were playing. And I told him he doesn't have to sleep. He can just pretend that he's sleeping. And very often he himself would announce, quiet break now, he'll turn off light. And we will stop everything we're doing and lie down for a couple of minutes. He's 21 now. He still does it. He'll just get up and say, I'm off to my room. We'll be back in a few. It's his way of managing his mental state. Now let's talk about how can you use sensory enrichment, how you can bring in more sensory experiences. And this is what's used in tantric practices. In lovemaking, all the senses are intentionally activated. Sound, scent, texture, color, temperature. It's all used to anchor positive state. How can you enrich your sensory experiences throughout your usual daily routines? Your usual planning with a calendar or a journaling can be turned into a beautiful ritual if you add a candle, incense, and maybe pair it with a cup of nice tea. You see, your body is an instrument, and your experiences, that what tunes it. You just have to decide who is holding this tuning fork, somebody else or you. I'd rather it be you. So next time when you feel overwhelmed or numb, don't just assume that it's you. It might be your nervous system reacting to a world that profits from your disconnection. Withdraw, recalibrate, and only then step back into the world on your own terms, fully aware, fully alive, with your senses not as weapons turned against you, but as your allies. Quick NLP practice for when you feel overwhelmed. Do it right now with me. Doesn't matter whether you are sitting down, lying down, or even standing up. Close your eyes. Picture a spiral coming from above, like a soft lightning. And as it wraps around you, gradually, it dissolves all the noise, all the background static, all the distractions. It dissolves all your worries, fears. It dissolves your tension, the heaviness and discomfort. It dissolves all your pain, emotional and physical. And as it reaches the ground under your feet, all of it disappears. Now there is only calm and peace. Take a deep breath. Anchor this comfort. Repeat it as many times throughout the day as you need to. And I promise you, you will feel much better.